Alright, so it's finally finished rendering. If your computer's as slow as mine, it took like a day and a half. But anyway, there it is. Looks pretty good. We've got nice shadows, got a lot of nice features. And something I would point out actually is you see this kind of area over here as this wash. But if you look at the alpha, you'll see the alpha is pretty low here. So even though this color here and this color here is basically the same, these are going to composite very differently from each other. This is more like the actual shape that you'll see when it's placed over a background. Um, it's never really enough in production to just render an element like this and just look at it and say, okay, we got it. You're always going to need to make like a slap comp where you put it over the actual background. And in this case, I went ahead and took an image I took a while ago. And you can see how different it actually looks now. Um, Here they are side by side, more or less. And so you can really see how as we go over these bright areas, you lose like everything. You lose quite a bit of it anyway. All this stuff over here on the side, you barely even see it anymore. Some of this area here is strong and dense enough to actually be seen over the background there, and you'll see that same side here. So it's this feature is the same thing as this feature, but all of this kind of lighter area here, we lose it pretty fast. Um, so there you go. So this is what it would look like composited into an environment. I mean, I don't know why this mountain would be smoking like that, but that's not really the point. In any case, um, we can actually add a lot more detail into this, little pockmarks and even much more granular, much finer detail into this without having to go through a resim. And I started to allude to that earlier when we were talking about the rest fields. We're going to add vected noise through it, and we'll be able to tweak that without actually waiting for a full resim. We're going to cover that in the next lesson, all about rendering and whatnot. But until then, I hope this was super helpful. And we're actually going to cover even more advanced simulation techniques later, including combustion and and hacking into the nodes like we started to do there with the disturbance microsolver. There's still quite a bit more to talk about, but I imagine most of you want to know about rendering and shading and lighting next. So that will be in our next lesson, and I'll see you there.